guys, Josh from soccerreviewsforyou.com, bringing you my review plus on-feet video of the brand new Adidas 11Nova 3 in the black, white, and flash orange colorway. Now inside the box, all you get are the shoes themselves. They do not come with any extras. So let me get these out of the box really quickly, and we'll take a closer look at the only takedown model below the 11 Pro 3, the 11Nova 3. Now this is definitely more of a budget-oriented model. It has a retail price of $65 US, $120 less than the top-end 11 Pro 3 model, and considering that there is that significant of a price gap, you'd expect there to be a pretty big gap as far as quality is concerned as well, and surprisingly, that's not really the case. The 11Nova 3 is surprisingly similar to the 11 Pro 3, which we're going to talk about in today's video. We're going to take a closer look at the colorway, we're going to go over all of the tech specs, and of course talk about how these things fit and feel. So if you're interested in learning more about the 11Nova 3, stick around, and with that being said, let's get right into the review. To start things off, let's talk about the colorway. Now this is one of two launch colorways for the 11 Pro 3, and as far as the 11Nova is concerned, I believe it only has been made available in the black colorway as opposed to the white and flash orange variation that I featured on my channel not too long ago. Now the upper, as you guys can see, is pretty much all black. The signature design element of the new 11 Pro models is of course this strip running right down the middle and rear portion of the shoe. Instead of it actually being a piece of material that divides the two pieces of leather in the forefoot, it's actually just an extra strip of material that they've placed on top just to give it the visual similarity of that top end 11 Pro 3. You have that same strip running down the middle in the tongue, and of course going across the back as well, and that strip is flash orange with a little bit of this kind of light blue color. As you guys can see, your 11Nova branding is on the back of the heel in that same flash orange. You're going to find your white Adidas stripes on both the lateral and medial side of the shoe. And then the sole plate certainly doesn't have the same premium aesthetic as what you're going to find from the 11 Pro 3, but actually feels quite similar, something we'll talk about later in the video. It's solid black in color with some flash orange accents, and half the studs are white, while the other half are black, as you guys can see. So again, very simple, very straightforward colorway, nothing too crazy here. And if you're looking for something simple, then the 11Nova 3 in this launch color is definitely one that you'll probably be a fan of. So let me know your opinions on it down below in the comments. Do you like how this shoe looks? Why or why not? And with that being said, let's move on to the tech specs so we can learn a little bit more about how this shoe actually performs. As far as performance is concerned, considering the very low $65 price tag of the 11Nova, you get a lot more than I was honestly expecting. Now, if you are a long-time watcher of my channel and my reviews in general, you know that I don't often recommend Adidas takedown models. In fact, I generally call them out for their questionable quality, especially for the prices that they're charging. Now, the 11Nova 3 is a particularly low-cost takedown model from Adidas, retailing for only $65. And again, what you're getting for your money seems to be pretty solid here. Now, as far as the upper is concerned, it is actually made from a natural leather material. There's no synthetic at all, at least from what I can tell. Now, if you read the tech specs, they advertise this leather material as what they call Alt K leather, which would lead people to believe that it is kangaroo leather. I can tell you for a fact that it isn't kangaroo leather. This is one of those marketing schemes that Adidas likes to do whenever they don't use kangaroo leather. They did it before with the 11 Pro line as well as the Predator line, calling it Taurus leather as opposed to what it actually was, which was calfskin leather. In this particular situation, the Alt K leather that they've used to me feels just like a standard full grain leather. Nothing too bad about it though, really no complaints. And again, for $65, it's what you should expect. And if anything, above average as far as quality is concerned. What is a little bit intriguing and something that will differ depending on which pictures you've seen online. Some of the pictures of the 11Nova 3 features a quilted stitched upper. That is a sample variation of the shoe and not actually what has been released to the public. Regardless of which picture it is displayed, if you order a pair of 11Nova 3s, this is exactly what you're going to receive. So as you guys can see, you have that full grain leather upper backed by that same internal support skeleton that you actually find on that top end 11 Pro 3 model. So essentially what it is, it's a fused on kind of internal plastic synthetic material support cage backing the leather, which is then kind of covered up again by an internal liner. Now this eliminates the need for stitching on the actual leather, and it actually does work quite well. It creates more of a kind of modern feel as far as how the shoe fits and responds when making quick cuts and turns, but also maintains the softness and flexibility that you would want from a leather upper. So you can see you have that internal skeleton here in the forefoot area, as well as in the heel. In the heel, it's not so significant because you actually have an internal plastic heel counter, so it's not really, like I said, something that you're going to notice. You do have, again, the same division of the three pieces of material, except in the forefoot, there's actually a synthetic piece that divides the two strips of leather in the forefoot on the top end 11 Pro, whereas here you can see it's one single piece, which I'm not sure why they didn't do that on the top end 11 Pro 3. The extra piece here, like I mentioned earlier, is just for aesthetics, has nothing to do with performance, and isn't something that you really notice while you're wearing the shoes either. After some break-in time, you will find that the leather does soften up pretty significantly. It forms to the shape of your foot. The internal skeletal support cage doesn't actually restrict the shoe from stretching at all. So again, you're able to achieve a very custom, comfortable fit once the shoe is broken in. And again, you get that nice soft leather touch on the ball, much nicer than I was expecting considering the $65 retail price. You do have a lacing system running right down the middle of the shoe, and if there is one downside to the upper, it is the tongue. It's made from a fairly cheap synthetic material with a very kind of clunky stitching and extra padding and bulk that doesn't necessarily need to be there. That is, if anything, the only downside to the upper for this particular price range, and really my only complaint regarding the upper of the shoe. So like I mentioned, internal plastic heel counter. It's got the same cut in the rear portion of the shoe. It does actually have a synthetic suede lining material with a nice amount of padding, which is really, really nice. Unfortunately, the insole is non-removable. It's glued in there. You can actually pull it out if you want with a little bit of effort, but I wouldn't necessarily say that it's necessary. Would have liked to see a removable insole, but again, for this particular price tag, that is kind of to be expected. And then moving on to the sole plate, it is technically a comfort frame, and despite it not visually being as aesthetically pleasing as what you're going to find from the 11 Pro 3, where it has the split design and the clear look to it, the actual materials themselves are pretty much identical. So the fit, feel, and overall performance of this sole plate is, like I said, identical to that of the top end 11 Pro 3. It's a basic TPU plastic construction and the exact same stud pattern. So as far as performance is concerned, right on par with that top end model. And as far as this traction pattern goes, on firm natural grass playing surfaces, it's really good. It's kind of a modern twist on a classic stud pattern where they're triangular in shape, but they have rounded edges, as you guys can see. So you get plenty of grip when pushing off, plenty of stability because they're scattered across the entire bottom of the sole plate. And because they do have those rounded edges, you still get plenty of maneuverability when your foot is planted. So again, if you're looking for a not so aggressive firm ground stud pattern, you're probably going to really like the feel of the 11 Pro or 11Nova 3, just based on how they perform traction wise. So that's pretty much it as far as the 11Nova 3 is concerned. Again, surprisingly good quality for the very low $65 price tag, which is, like I said, uncommon for a lot of Adidas takedown models. So that's it as far as tech specs are concerned. And next we'll move on to a quick weigh-in so you can see how lightweight these guys are. As far as weight is concerned, the 11Nova 3 surprisingly weighs a little bit less than what you're going to find from the top end 11 Pro 3 model. So I'm going to weigh this pair for you today in real time. Keep in mind this is a brand new pair in a size 9 US. Going to throw it on the scale, and you can see that they weigh in at 8.3 ounces, whereas the 11 Pro 3 in the same size, also brand new condition, weighs in somewhere around 9 ounces. So you're saving almost an ounce of weight with the 11Nova 3. I'm not 100% sure as to why that is. I definitely feel like the leather upper on the top end 11 Pro 3 is a lot more significant, a lot higher quality, and that could attribute to slightly more weight. But other than that, I really don't know why these weigh so much less than the 11 Pro 3. It's not something where it's super noticeable when they're on your feet. But again, for the $65 that Adidas is asking for this shoe at 8.3 ounces to have a full leather upper and pretty much the exact same sole plate and stud pattern as the top end model, it's really, really difficult to complain about anything on this shoe. So again, 8.3 ounces for $65. That's a pretty good deal if you ask me. All right, so here's a look at the 11Nova 3s on feet. And from right out of the box, I'm really, really impressed with how these things fit and feel. Give them a couple hours of break-in time, they'll feel that much better. In comparison to that top end 11 Pro 3, the leather is noticeably not as soft, especially from right out of the box. So there definitely is a quality difference when going from the 11Nova to the 11 Pro. Not too big of a surprise there, but again, what you're getting with the 11Nova is a pretty solid package. The leather is soft and it will get even softer after some break-in time. The support skeleton internal frame on the shoe really does a good job of keeping your foot locked in place and preventing the shoe from overstretching while still giving you that nice structured sensation, even though there's no stitching in the actual leather. And again, it's just a really nice, comfortable shoe overall that gets more comfortable over time. As far as the fit of the shoe is concerned, in comparison to the 11 Pro 3, it's a little bit more roomy in the forefoot and toe box area, I would say, which is not a bad thing depending on what your preferences are. And the midfoot seems to be a lot more snug as well. The fit in the heel is also really good, and that is a very common issue that I have with a lot of takedown models. So as far as fit is concerned, really happy. They're going to be suitable for most foot types. Again, just keep in mind that the fit through the middle of the foot is quite snug. So if you have really wide feet, this may not be the best option for you, or at least try them on before you buy them. But again, also keep in mind that they will stretch after a couple hours of wear time. As far as sizing is concerned, I'm wearing my usual size 9 US here, and the fit and the length is absolutely perfect. So if you are looking to order a pair of these for yourself, I'd strongly recommend going true to size for the best possible fit. Alright guys, that's it for my review of the Adidas 11Nova 3. Really happy with this takedown model, honestly. For the $65 retail price, it's hard to complain about anything on this shoe. If I had complaints, it would be that the tongue is a little bit chunky for my liking, and I'm not crazy about the non-removable insole, but everything else for the price that they're asking here is very reasonable and well above my expectations, especially considering Adidas's history with their takedown models. So if you are on a bit of a budget, the 11Nova 3 is going to be one of the best options within this price range. Honestly, I take this over a pair of Hypervenom Felons, a pair of Nike Mercurial Victory 5s. It just is a lot better as far as quality is concerned. And no matter how cheap the shoe actually is, when you go with a natural leather upper, it just feels so much better than the really low quality synthetics that generally go on this type of a takedown model. So again, for the price range, if you're on a budget, the 11Nova 3 is definitely a shoe that I can recommend. One of the best values as far as takedown models in this particular price range. Now, there will not be a full written review for this particular shoe, but if you guys want to check out the review page on my website, there'll be a link to that, the very first one down below in the description of this video. You'll find the high quality images of this shoe that I took myself that'll give you a better idea as to how they actually do look in person. Just details you won't see in the online stock photos. And you also find buy it now links for this particular shoe, where you can actually pick them up below their retail price of $65 using exclusive SR4U coupon codes, and actually pick them up for around $58 or so. So again, as well priced as they are at $65, you can get them even for less right now, even though this is a brand new release. So if you're interested in a pair, first link down below in the description, check out the review page on my site. If you have any questions or suggestions, leave those down below in the comment section, and I definitely will get an answer out to you. If you enjoyed today's video, found it helpful and informative, be sure to support it with a like. That would be greatly appreciated. Subscribe if you haven't already for daily videos on all the latest and greatest soccer gear. You can find all my social media information down below in the description as well. And other than that, guys, hope you enjoyed today's video. And as always, thanks for watching.